Organizer for Azure Kuwait. I would like to thank you all for your time today and welcome you to our, I think, our 5th meetup and the first for this year, which will be creating an intelligent bots or chatbots with Azure Bot Service. This is a small brief about myself. I'm Tariq Abu Bakr. I have more than 10 years of experience in IT in general, 7 years of them in the banking sector. I led a lot of projects and implemented a lot, especially in the banking, industry. I have already a TOGAF, I'm TOGAF 9 certified, Azure certified, DevOps, all of these certifications. I work as an enterprise, IT enterprise architecture in KFH. And this is my colleague, the co-founder, Amir Ismail. Unfortunately, Amir couldn't be here today. He's a little bit sick. But Amir is having also more than 15 years of experience, and he's a senior. I think he left the KOC. He joined you, so it's not updated. He's an ITIL certified, Prince 2, also a Scrum Master, and he has a lot of certification. These are the contacts for anyone who would like to contact me or him. So, what is bot? Anyone knows? Anyone can tell before you look at this? So, what is bot? Any idea? Okay, I'll give you a hint. The bot, basically, it's an application. Yes, it's just an application. It's nothing more than this. An application is doing a repetitive, work, which cannot done by the human, do it in that, fast rhythm or something like that. So it's just, as we said, it's an application that performs one or more automated tasks. So, and as we said, it's just an application. So nothing is scary, nothing, fancy about it, and you'll see why nothing is fancy about it. So there is like a subcategory of the bots, which is the chatbot, which we will see today. The chatbot is the same, as we said, it's an application, but the difference is the input is conversational. You are dealing with the user in a conversational manner, either by typing or texting. The user is typing something to the bot, or it's through the audio, because the audio is type of conversation. So it's the same thing, and basically the bots, when it started, and we will see the history, it's either picking like a keywords, and based on that do the action or the decision, taking the decision, or it's having maybe a little bit advanced, having some NLP, which is natural language processing mechanism, which also we will see today. So this is the history of chatbots. It started with Elisa in 1966. It's that old. It's, I think, I forgot the name who made it, but it's some scientist in MIT. Whoever is very old, a little bit old like me, maybe he has the chance to play with it. But I played with it on the version of DOS. Not for sure the 1966, I'm not that old. Okay, so then there come the Berry, we can see here Alice was a quite, remarkable thing. It has maybe the first sort of AI somehow. Lisa was just a keyword, searching for keywords and taking maybe the user in conversation and start opening questions. Like, for example, if you say, you say, I like my brother, and it will ask you, oh, so what do you, or how is your family, what they are doing. So it's just an open question. But with Alice started the AI thing, maybe with the NLP, till we maybe reach Watson, which is from IBM. I think a lot of you heard about Watson. After that, Google Now, which became maybe the Google Assistant. Then Alexa, Cortana, bots for messenger, then Thai. Anyone knows about Thai? Anyone heard about Thai? It was a chatbot or a bot produced by Microsoft, and it was published in Twitter. And people, they publish it, and people were, because it was in training phase, so people was, giving him like instructions. So in a manner, within 16 hours, it became racist, and they shut it down within 16 hours only. So there is, just go and Google and search Thai, tweets or something. You'll find some of these. So where we can find bots these days, or you'll find them, acting as an agent for user. You'll find them translating user intents. Also, you will find them performing actions, combine data from multiple sources. This is some of the use cases you will see. Maintaining dialogue context, and maybe even, exhibit personality. So it will impersonate someone or something like that, Why we should bother? Why we have to do, since it's an application, why not to develop a normal application, a web application or a mobile application? Why we have to do a bot or something like that, or a chatbot? So from this figure, we can see here, I think this is from BI Intelligence, published in Q1 2015, which means 5 years back. The monthly active users of the top 4 messaging apps, which is, I think it was WhatsApp, WeChat in China, and another, maybe Telegram, and another, and Viber, something like that, were suppressing the monthly active social network apps, which is Facebook and Instagram and the other big 4s. So you can imagine how, and this is the figure till, we have it till Q1 2017. So I believe it's even more. So that was quite shocking, and it was like to the business owners, like a wake-up call that we have to build this capability. Why it's happening? Maybe because the current generation is, they call it a chat generation, because in early 2000, you remember there was the messenger and these things. So somehow it's in the same flow. So this is some forecasts also, came from some studies. So they said by this year we will have 80% of the enterprises will use chatbots. If you go, for example, I know that, for example, KFH has a chatbot already integrated in their website and their application. A lot of Zain, they have ZBot. By the way, ZBot is based on the Azure chatbot technology. Also the KFH, I can say that. Don't tell them. No, it's not a secret, It's not a secret. So we build it also using Azure, This was quite shocking when I was, preparing for this slides. When I saw the figure, I was really shocked. By 2021, which is maybe next year, $4.5 billion will be invested in chatbots. So this is a lot of money. So if you are a developer of chatbots, or you have this skill, you'll have a good portion of this. Maybe you can start your own company on this. Who knows? Yes, there is a good opportunity in this. Here it says by 2022, banks can automate up to 90% of their customer interaction using chatbots. So I will transfer money. I think Bobyan is doing a great job, to be frank, let's be frank. With Msaad, they are doing very good job. You can do now even transactions using the chatbot, not even a knowledge base. Both of these things we will see, how you can leverage your knowledge base, and how you can do an action or a transaction or something like that. So additional benefits you can have, as I said, engage with the chat generation, they call it. Maybe I don't know, they have also maybe the Z generation, they call it, or something, I'm not sure, or the X generation. lowered business costs to serve internally and externally. Because as we said, the bot currently is doing some routines or repetitive, work, which is you don't want to bother or, have an FTE, a full-time employee is sitting on desk, just maybe receiving calls and trade, for example. Let's take an example. I'm in the call center. I'm receiving calls. So, for example, when someone will call me, sorry, but my printer is not working. So it's a little bit lame, these days in 2020, to have, someone is dedicated just to take it. Maybe he's not fixing even the thing. Maybe he's just trade it and say, okay, this ticket, it goes to the team A because he's dealing with this. For example, with a bot and having some cognitive services, for example, I will give my my user the ability to take a picture and upload it to the bot, and the bot will recognize that it's a broken, printer, then assign the ticket automatically to the correct team. So I'm not saying replacing the people with machines here, but instead of wasting the time of them, put them in the right place. They can do more, powerful work or more valuable work to the organization, rather, the repetitive and not that much value work. So as we said, improve resource focus on other tasks. This is what we just explained. More quickly connect user with information and services. One of the examples will be great, for example, it's not even for your customers, even for your employees. If you have a bot which connected to your knowledge base, and for example, I want to, let's say I want to open an account. I'm working in a bank. Sorry, I'm giving another bank, example. So for a user, for a customer, I can give that information using the bot. Say, for example, go to this option in this menu and do blah, 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 blah in KFH Online or whatever internet banking application. For the employee, I can tell them and give them the screenshots and the instruction on the system they are using. Okay, so I can say, go to this option, put the name of the customer, blah, 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 and take these notes from him or these paper. So it's something what you can achieve with this. So these are all possibilities and you can do. Act as a friendly navigator for legacy, data and big data, when you can navigate through these things. These are some of the examples we see every day today. You'll have, for example, here we have I think cheap flights, which is a travel agent. They're using, a chatbot to do booking and manage the bookings. Here we have a bank doing, using a chatbot. No issue. And we have, I think this is the source of Bank of America. See, even banks that are using. And this is foreign news. CNN is using, bots, So, to conclusion, we have a lot of, as we said, there is bots, we have a lot of things. It will bring us to Azure Bot Service. What's the unique about Azure Bot Service? What's the difference between it? The Azure Bot Service is an integrated environment, gives you the facility or the ability, to integrate and build and connect and test your bots. It's a framework, a full SDK. And the beauty of now Azure, and as I said, Microsoft is not now dealing with the .NET. You have the .NET SDK, you have a JavaScript, and this, for example, .NET is a C#, the JavaScript, I believe it's Node and Node.js and JavaScript, pure JavaScript. Python, it's in beta, and Java even. See, who was imagining Microsoft is doing something for Java? So this is what the bot framework SDK is leveraging through all of these.
It supports Web 2.
Sorry?
It supports Web 2.
Bot 2?
Swiss or Texas?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I work normally in C# and a little bit I tried with the Node, but for the mobile thing and the Swift, I'm not sure. But we can double check. Yeah. This is what it offers. As I said, it's an SDK for developing bots. It's a tool to cover end-to-end development workflow. So we will see how to do this. You can send and receive messages and interact with it. And once, for example, a member is joining the conversation, it can detect that. If you are pinging the bot, it can detect that. So it's a complete framework, Also, it's the good thing, it can be deployed in Azure or even on premises, by the way. You can have it on premises, but one of the nice things about having it in Azure, you can connect it to multiple channels out of the box, like Teams, and we'll see these Teams and other things like Slack, Facebook. It's out of the box.
WhatsApp?
Sorry?
WhatsApp or WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, no, it's not there. WhatsApp, because I worked with WhatsApp, currently it's a limitation from Facebook, the owner of WhatsApp. If you are going to do it, you have to contact one of their 5 resellers around the world. I think the reseller which is dealing with Kuwait and the region is Infobip, which is in Europe. Okay, so you can contact them, and they will facilitate to you the WhatsApp for Business APIs. So they will have their own API where you will talk to that. Yeah, and then from that you can use that APIs and point it to your chatbot, because as we will see, the chatbot is just an API, thing, Just it's an RESTful API published. You will just call a post method. That's it. Then it will take care of inside the framework. It's that easy. And through a protocol, it's called link directs. I think it's called link direct, because I tried a proof of concept for that, but it's doable. But it's not out of the box, because of the limitation, not from the framework itself, from WhatsApp and Facebook. They don't want, their reason, they don't want it to end up like other platforms with a lot of ads and these things. Even you are not allowed to contact the customers directly unless they call you first or ask you. And if you will go and call them or send a message out immediately to them, it should be one of the things based on one template shared with WhatsApp and approved by WhatsApp. So it's not straightforward, and you will be charged more for that. So it depends on the channel. So to enrich your bot, you can use one of the cognitive services, Azure also supporting. This is one of the beauty of Azure, It has some of the cognitive services. This really will gives you the AI capability of your bot, Because as we said, it's a normal application, and at the end with a framework, to receive and send messages, which gives it the beauty of AI is the cognitive services. So today we will use the first two, the language and the Q&A maker. Speech, search, and vision, something later. Maybe we'll have another meetups, dedicated for these things. But for the language, which is basically Lewis, you have a machine learning based service to build, where it can recognize what you sent to the bot. It can detect the intent of what you just said. And it will tell you, for example, if you say, please book me a ticket to London. So it will say the intent is maybe make a reservation. One of the entities, they have an entity, and you'll see this, called, the entity will be, for example, London, which is a city. So something like that. The Q&A maker is just your knowledge base. where you will connect it. For example, the Q&A can read from an Excel sheet, from a CSV, a web page even. Like if you have an FAQs, frequent asked question, page, it can parse it and build it for you. And it can build some nice personality for your bot also as well. Speech is speech to text and text to speech, I believe. And search is just elastic search. And the vision is gives you the capability, to detect, and recognize images and what's inside it and these things. So this is any conversational AI experience. That's how they define it, for example. So they said, Ahmed, I think you have to rerun it again. Okay, so basically what we will have, you will have the input, which is from the user here. So it's either, an adaptive card. We'll see a card and what we mean by card. It's even a speak, type, tab if you are on maybe an iPad or something. This will go either, to one of the channels directly, or it goes to a device, like, maybe your Google Assistant or Cortana or something. Or maybe your car, if it has the capability tomorrow, you'll insert that bot inside it. Or maybe it goes to one of the channels. As we said, it can go to the Teams, your website, maybe Twilio, which is actually one of the resellers, by the way, for also the WhatsApp. And email, Messenger, Skype for business also. Then the Azure Bot Service will receive all of this information. Now this is the beauty. When you have the cognitive services, you can use any of these. So if you have multiple capabilities like this, you will use something, they call it the dispatcher model, where the dispatcher controller will receive the input. Then it will decide to which service to go. So for example, if it's a Q&A thing, it will go to your knowledge base. Whatever knowledge base, can be your database, manual PDF, general knowledge somewhere, or maybe a transactional thing or a skill, you build it. So mail, maybe custom, or even call another bots. And this can be facilitated through an APIs, or I don't know, maybe even authenticate the user. Or maybe even send it to a human being. For example, a third-party assistant or something. For example, let's say I'm using website for telecoms or something. So I'm chatting with this chatbot, but for some reason I'm not satisfied with the answers. So I can say, please redirect me to an agent. So directly, it will take you to the agent, send all the conversation to the agent, so the agent will not go back and ask you, sorry sir, what's your name, or madam, what's your name? No, khalas, he will read it. Maybe even if you have some AI capability, even maybe summarize all of the things and give it to him. So he will tell you, for example, oh, Mr. Tariq, how are you? Sorry for that, our bot didn't answer you quite. How can I help, for example? Or whatever he can say. So we will show you what we will implement today. So we'll have the input, and we will have one of the channels, or maybe two, depends on the time. We'll have for sure the bot service. From the cognitive service, we will have the Q&A maker and the language understanding. Using the dispatcher, we'll go either to our knowledge base or a skill, customized skill, where I will show you. We'll connect to a news provider. I will show you how we will do it, inshallah, in a couple of minutes. So let's go for the first demo. We'll not build this. Okay. Type. So as a first, I will log into Azure, okay? I'm already logged into Azure. And I will go to create a resource. And I will go to the AI and let me see just if you can see this. No, sorry, not this. What was that? I believe. Okay, so I will go to the AI machine learning. Okay, and let me just. After that, I will choose a web bot, a web app bot. Okay, so. So it will give me some a blade, you know, where I will put some of the information here. This is the bot handle. It's just a handle, you know, to recognize your bot. It's a unique thing. So I will call it Azure Kuwait bot. Okay. Okay, my subscription. If anyone has a subscription wants to follow up, you're free to follow up with me. I will create a new resource group, because in Azure everything, all the services should be inside a resource group. So I will call it the same, Azure.
We don't have this if we have a free account, right?
You have a free account. If you didn't register before for a free account, it will give you a 30 days free account and a balance of $200.
And if we didn't do it?
If you did it before, you will not. Anyone wants, I can give some subscription keys. If anyone willing, I can give you now, which will give you a $50. Okay. I'll give it to you now. How can we give it? In the meetup, can you just drop me a message or something? Drop me a message and I will give you the code. I believe I have it. Let me first here finish. Okay, the Azure Q8, we'll call it bot. I like to call all the resource groups end it with a postfix, you know, RG. So I know it's a resource group. I will choose the nearest data center to here or region, which is West Europe. Maybe someone will say why we don't use the UAE. Anyway, it's not all the services deployed there. Make sure to use the F0. The F0 is the free tier. So even if you have a subscription and use the free tier, the F here, so this is a free, okay? This is a free tier where you will not be charged. The name will be normally as the bot handle, unless you want to call it something else. If you notice, it's end up with azurewebsites.net, which means it will publish a website for us. As I said, it's web application. And at the end, sorry?
As a
API, yes. You have some templates here, which is out of the box: EcoBot, Basic Bot, and as I said, C# and Node.js. Maybe you cannot see here the Java and Python because they are in beta, but you can use it, download the beta version and use it from the Visual Studio directly or whatever IDE you have. So I will go with the EcoBot, and I will tell you why. Also, it will ask for an app service, since we are publishing a website. I'll go also for West Europe. Okay, so I'll let it be like this. You can have an application insight which gives you an insight if any errors or something happens. But for the sake of for the demo, I will not create. So the deployment will be much faster. And I will say, please do an auto create, app ID and password, and we'll see what that means. And I will say just create. It will validate. And I believe the deployment is in progress. So it will take around maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, something like that. Let's see. We can see the progress here. So, in the meanwhile, anyone has any question? Till now, is it clear? Something fancy you can see? Nothing. Okay. In the meanwhile, you dropped me on something, right? Let me. Anyone wants a passcode? So you can follow with me. Okay, just a second. Sorry, I will just meetup. And I believe it's in the D drive. Not sorry, but it seems I don't have the file. Okay. Anyway, I will send you one once I go back at home. You can play with that. Anyway, let's go back. Welcome. Okay. So it's done, huh? But let me. Yalla. So the deployment is completed. If I go to the resources, let's go first to the resource group. If I go and refresh, I have it. This is the one. So see what we have. We have a website, an app service, and this is the app service plan, which it's coming, with it by default. And the Azure Kuwait bot is there. A quick tip, since if you are trying to play with that and you will not be charged, as I said, we are using the free tier. But there is a hint here. The app service plan will be on a standard tier, which will charge you, some dollars. So once it's provisioned, this is out of the template. The default template, it takes you to the standard one. So just go to the scale, I believe it is scale up. See? The S1, which is the standard. Go to the dev and test and go to the F1, which is the shared infrastructure, which will be a free tier for you also. But because you are just testing, this is not recommended for sure for production scenarios. But since we are doing this for testing and development, you can use it. And as you can see here, it's free. Okay? So this is one of the beauties, we can provision things and start things for free. So let's go back and I will go to the bot. And there is something here, if you can see, called Test in Web Chat. Click on that and it will open for you like a window to test your bot. So immediately once you are logged in, or maybe join the conversation, more probably I will say, it will tell you hello and welcome. So if I say hi, for example, so it will return echo hi. What are you doing? It says echo what you are doing. So as from its name, it's an echo bot. Whatever you are sending, it's returning back. Just to tell you why I started with this example. It's a simple one, because now we will download the code, and we will see, what's inside it, and you will see it. It's nothing different than what you always do, with your web applications. Before that, no problem. Let's do this, and we will. So we'll go to the build, if you go to the build option, you'll have something, download bot source code. I will say yes. It will zip the code for me, then it will send it to me. Okay? Creating source zip file. In the meanwhile, okay, we don't have anything here. It's okay, download the bot source. Don't think it will take that much of time. So, extract, I'll go to the desktop. Azure Kuwait bot. So it's extracted. So let's open it. Open the solution. The same is applicable for other, languages, but we'll stick with the, the C# one, okay?
When you select the bot template, give for SDK language, give only C#
and Node, yes, as I said, yeah, because the Java and the Python, they are in beta phase, so they are not general available. But I will show you how you can do it, or where you can find it. And at least I will lead you to the documentation where you can use the Java or something. Actually, I want you to try the Java since you are a Java guy. It will be an interesting one,
That's what I want.
So basically, there is a lot of stuff. Maybe I think not all of them needed. But anyone is familiar with the web application, the web API? Anyone .NET developer? Nothing. You are a little bit, okay? So it's a .NET Core. So you have here, your program. Okay, so let's go here and I will. So it's an application, normal application, main function, where it will build the host file, the web host. And if we go to the startup, class, where we configure all our services, okay? So it's an MVC, a normal MVC. Anyone, is familiar with the .NET and these things, he can notice it's an MVC thing. And we have one of the services is called EcoBot. We will see this. And the rest is, I think anyone is familiar with .NET Core, it's nothing different. And since it's a web API, if we go to the controllers and go to the bot controller, see? So we have an API ends with API.messages, and it has a post, action, where it will receive, anything in the body, and it will send the request under the response, to this process function. As simple as this. Okay, it's a little bit. Yeah.
It's like a normal request.
As you said, exactly. Now the beauty now, if you can see, there is a bot, and it's from the type iBot, or interface called iBot. And this for sure I know from the services. When I define the services here in the startup, I said the iBot, the implementation for it is from the EcoBot class. So if I go to the EcoBot class, here is what you want to learn about the framework itself. Here is the framework of the bot. From this name, anyone can tell me what this method is doing? On message activity?
Basically echoing what you're saying.
Exactly. This is what the framework will call once a message received. It's that simple. It's nothing fancy. This is, for example, on members added, which means any member joined the conversation. This method will be, called. So it's so simple. You can do it yourself without any complication. Let's see, Yusuf, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Yusuf was right. If we open this method, see, we are saying echo whatever is coming from the 10 context, because all the conversation is kept in a, and you will say the activity, the current activity and the text. So you are saying echo whatever is you are receiving. Then you are sending that to as a reply, you know, you're sending the reply. As simple as this.
Okay. What is the type for request?
Where?
If I send the request, what is the type for?
The request will be a text.
Yeah,
Normal text, yes. It will be in the body.
No parameter and bodies like this.
No, because whatever, I don't know, because it's
It's just a text.
It's a text. Actually, you don't need to bother how it comes, because the framework will parse it for you and it will give it to you ready. This is the thing. So the idea is not, don't bother about, the API, how it's done and these things. Just focus maybe a little bit on the framework itself, the bot framework. Maybe this is where you have to need to know maybe these methods, what this method is doing, what this one is doing. And believe me, you will be like this, doing a lot of things. Because anything below that, the API framework, it's, you are abstracted somehow to it. Although the code is there for you. So here, as you noticed, I received hello and welcome. This is once I joined the conversation. So if we go back here, no, I will show you how to do it later. So here it says it will check if this member is not part of the list of members the bot is keeping. You are sending this message to it. It is that simple. Yeah. Now let's see if we can debug this. Can we debug it? Since we have it. So in order to debug it, if we go back here to the build, you'll have something called Git Emulator. So you can go here and install the emulator. I think currently it is in 4.7.0. So this is the emulator. I will open it to you because it's already installed in my machine. So this is the emulator, which will give you an emulator to talk to the bot. It will give you the facility, to talk to the bot. I will say create a new bot configuration here. Okay, this will ask for a bot name. Give it whatever name you want. I'll call it Azure Kuwait bot. I will say dev, since we are using inside our machine. You will notice that here, I want you just to focus on this. See, your bot's endpoint. As we said, it's a RESTful, API, where all the messages will go to this API messages. You will find it because in the code, if you notice, there was the routing, API messages. Now, for the local host, when you do the development, all the development will be done in this port. But you can customize it, since you're having the code, you can do it. But stick with whatever is there. So, because I'm not good about typing and these things, we'll start the bot in debugging mode. So, one of the pages, it's just a welcome page. It gives you EcoBot, your bot is ready. See, it says you can test your bot from emulator to connect to this endpoint, right? So I will take it. And it says also download the emulator. So let's go back and create, I didn't save it, Azure Kuwait bot dev. And I will say this is, now here is the Microsoft app ID and app password. So this is, you will find it in on the app settings. So just take it as it is. It's an optional thing. If you don't put it in the app config, it will not be needed. and just say save and connect. It will ask you where to save it. I will save it to the same directory of where we have our bot. So it will be like a configuration file for the emulator. Whenever, sorry, okay. Yeah. So whenever you want to connect, see now here the emulator, it gives you more insight what's happening, how it goes. See, so it's post, huh? For whoever was talking about, is it a RESTful API or something? So this is a RESTful call. This is what I'm receiving exactly. You can also do some filtration on this if you would like. So see, it says hello and welcome. Why? Because I recently joined the conversation. So if I say hi, say echo hi, whatever, echo whatever. Okay, as simple as this. So just to make sure we are debugging, sorry, not, we'll go to the EcoBot and we will put a breakpoint. So is this a breakpoint? See? It catch the breakpoint is activated. If I go and see the text here, the text is, I believe I can, is this a breakpoint? As I said, you don't need to bother how it's coming. It's ready for you. So F5 and it goes back and return. If I want to, for example, to say you sent instead and build the application, then run it again, and I will remove the breakpoint. I will start the conversation again. Hi. You sent hi. So that means we are doing it live. To publish, you can just, as normally you publish with, if you want to publish it directly from your what you call it, from your code or your Visual Studio, you can do it straightforward. Or you have your CI/CD pipeline, which is to enable the DevOps. You can also do that. But for the sake of the thing, we will not deploy it. We'll do it maybe later in the last step. So this is normally the EcoBot. One thing to just mention, there is something here in the settings. There is a tool called, it's an open source, I believe, tool called ngrok, which work as a proxy with your, if you are calling a remote bot. Let's say your bot is, published on Azure, so you need to use this this tool to facilitate the communication. Unless it will not work, So this is the first demo. It's quite simple, I believe. Okay. So till now it's 49 minutes. You need any break, something, or we'll continue to the next? We'll continue? You are okay? Okay, fine. Now, what we just saw, it's a small thing. It's a normal, maybe, it's not an actual bot, let's say. It's just replying whatever we are sending. Now we will start giving, some of the cognitive services, which will give our bot, the capability, to being more smart and more, interactive with our users. So we'll use one of the services called the Q&A Maker. So what's the Q&A Maker? It's a brief here about it. It's a cloud-based natural language processing, as we said, where it will easily create, a natural conversation layer between you and your data. It will, once you ask a question, it will go to your knowledge base, fetch the answer for you, and using an Elasticsearch, it will fetch it very fast and send it back to you. The beauty about the Q&A, to build your knowledge base, it can accept a file, like a CSV file, TSV file, or even an Excel sheet. It can read, as we said, if you have some FAQs, published in your website, it can parse that and also put it. And it can give some layer of, you can say, flexibility or personality to your bot. So if we go here, so as we said, when to use the Q&A maker, when you have static information. So if you are saying, for example, where is your branch, for example, located? So if you have list of branches, you can just always maybe have the branches, unless you will change it not that much frequent. So this is like a static information. When you want to provide the same answer and to a request or question or command, static information, as we said, based on meta information. And if you want to message a bot conversation that include, as we said, always static information. I believe there is another demo. There is a lot of demos today, huh? Great, huh? So let me close this. And I believe this also closed. Okay. So I will go to something called QAMaker.ai. All the cognitive services, I believe, end with AI, So just go to that. You will be asked to maybe sign up or sign in. I am already logged in, so I will go to, say, my knowledge bases, for example. I already have one, but let's say we want to create a new knowledge base. I will go to create knowledge base, and I will say create. It will take me back to Azure. So I can create the Q&A, because it's a service, as we said, on Azure. So I will say Azure Kuwait Q&A. I believe I have this pass. Also, as we said, there is multiple tiers. Stick with the F if you are doing for development of these things, which is the free tier. Always, I prefer. This is one of the beauties. You can do a lot of things with a free tier, You will not be charged anything. We'll put it in the same resource group we just created. And here, see, the F also for the indexing. As we said, there is an Elasticsearch is happening. So for the Elasticsearch, also there is some tiers is happening, 3 indexes or whatever. So the 3 indexes is the free tier here. Let's go for the West Europe. And the app name, as we said, also it will create a web application for you. I will not go for an apps inside, no need for the time being. And we'll just say create. See, as simple as this. Let's see what will happen. Okay. Operation, okay, I know why. Good, it happened. So anyone will ask tomorrow for it, will know. So what it says, let me show you what it says. Operation would exceed free tier service quota. The quota for the free tier is only having one Q&A, or with the free tier. So you cannot have 2 with the free tier. So it is easy. We can, go back to our Q&A maker. Let's see. We can delete this one. Delete. I will say create again. Now it should go. Why? I should be. I don't have another subscription to use it. Okay, give me this. So I don't type it again. Last time, if it fails, I will repeat it from the beginning. Okay. This is the beauty, see? We are not hiding anything. This is life. Okay, let's go back again. Maybe it's not refreshed, you know. So I have this one. Okay, the free one, the resource group, and I will go for the free one here. Unless I West Europe. West Europe. If it fails, I know maybe the reason will be that I have okay, خلاص, I got it. Let's go to this one. Yeah, see, I have the Q&As here already, so I will delete the whole resource group. Actually, I can go. The free tier is linked to the subscription itself. Actually, I could overcome this by using, you know, maybe the standard or the basic tier, but I don't want, you know, to lose the dollars, you know. يعني ask Muhammad, you know, back how easy, you know, to get these dollars.
You have the pass for that?
Yeah, I have the pass, but I don't want to waste it. And once I have the free tier, you know, for a service.
Do you require the pass every time?
Somehow, yeah, because I used to have. Yes, yeah. So. Just for the time being, I will go for the standard. Okay. Anyway, all for you. We will not care. Let a couple of bucks, you know, goes. So see, it's initializing now. The deployment is in progress, as we said. Anyway, it will charge us maybe, I don't know, $2, $1, it depends how long we will keep it up and maybe hitting the service. But it's nothing, yeah.
These are different chatbots, right?
Now, yeah, we are. You will see now the experience, you know. Currently, we are just to recap, we are just creating the Q&A service. Till now, we didn't configure it, let's say, between double quote, we didn't configure it, we're just creating it. Okay, so it's done. So go back to the QA maker and say refresh. So it will get all the new ones. You'll choose the tenant. This is my tenant. This is the subscription. I have now the Q&A services already appeared. I will choose the language. Here you have to notice that there is out of the box languages which, you know, gives you the ability of what they call it chit chat, which gives your bot the personality thing. You will see it how. So I will say English. Then I will give the knowledge base a name, like Azure Kuwait something. Let's see if we have. Okay, the resource, it's deleted, so we will not have any conflict. Now here, how to populate your KB, which is the knowledge base. So as we said, I will take a URL. So this URL, I will show it to you what it contains. So this is the FAQ page for Azure support. So you have a lot of questions here. with answers. So imagine if you want to type all of this. So instead, just give the Q&A the URL, and
Well, as you said, we can upload CSV file. Or?
yes, now I will show you, for example, a file name. You can upload the file, all of them. So I will say Q&A. Let's open this first. So I made this simple Excel sheet. It's easier to read from Excel than the CSV file. Although you can open it with the Excel. So I'm just giving it some questions. What is Azure Kuwait? It's Azure Kuwait, blah, blah, blah. When did Azure Kuwait? It's about our community,
It's like I will give you a data.
Yes, you are giving just a question with an answer. As we said, it's a static thing. So if I ask you today, what's your name? Tomorrow, what's your name? It's the same. So this is the same concept, yeah. So static data, yeah. It's a knowledge base, as we said. Knowledge base is always, most of the time it's a static, unless you refresh it not that frequent,
Okay, if I will use the normal conversation, it's like I will pay like this, I will do this. This is dependent on database or it's learned by itself.
We will see now. Somehow this can recognize some of the keywords, but it's not that fully NLP. Maybe when we language understanding, there we will be building what you are aiming to have. While, for example, come up with a totally new question, but also know what we mean or the intent of our question. Okay, so I will say upload this. Here, as we said, the chit chat, ability to answer thousands of small talks, questions, voice or fits. I like the friendly. The friendly, it's like when you say, what you're doing? Nothing much, not like the professional. I like the friendly one, by the way. And you say create. It will take maybe less than a minute. Hang tight.
Okay, I noticed for the Excel that you have two column questions.
A question and an answer.
Yeah, and for the website, do I have to add any special markups to be related to?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but I tried with the FAQ of Azure like this. Yesterday I was trying. I didn't read any specification, but I think if more metadata is there in your website or something, it will help more, on this thing.
I think it's based on the code that says like the question and maybe below it is the answer. So that's how.
Yeah. So let's see here now. See, now it fetch everything. It says you have how many sources? You have the Q&A, Excel, which is this one. So this is what is Azure Kuwait, and this is the answer. You can even type more questions similar to, which the same answer will have. Instead of saying what is Azure Kuwait, you can say, give me a synonym for that question.
Azure Kuwait.
Azure Kuwait. Yeah, no, because Azure Kuwait, it will detect it. Not who are you detected. No, I will choose another one, better one, not this one. Okay. This is the as we said, the chit chat friendly. So all of these questions having the same answer. So if I say this is so dull, swing and miss, you basic, swing and miss, the same thing it will happen, And this is the source from our URL. So see, it fetch everything for us. The nice thing that you have out of the box, okay, sorry. We have to save and train first. So once you are done, say save and train. So we are training the model. And by training the model, even we are maybe creating the indexes from the, for the Elasticsearch. So it will fetch everything very fast. So if I go to the test, which is out of the box here, and say, see, I will say what is .NET Kuwait, not even Azure Kuwait. Huh? We said what is Azure Kuwait, صح? Let's see if it's smart enough, to detect it. See, Azure Kuwait is a community group, you know, so it detected. Even I didn't say the correct question. And if I say like this, it will tell you what answers it found suitable for that question. So the first one was this answer with a confidence of 45%. The next one was this one, which is 27. And the last one is 24, which is, this is the right, yani, which is not bad, you know. So if I say, let's ask the correct one. I will show you the score, how it will change. Okay, it's read it also. Yeah. See the confident? It's 100 because it's exactly the same question. Let's say contact support. So contact support, it gives me a lot of things. You get easily access to Azure support by doing, see, this came from the FAQ page website. So imagine if you have a manual now, normally, you know, organizations, what they do, you have a lot of maybe paperwork or even maybe a Word document or something. You can upload it, by the way, a structured document, which is like Word document or a PDF, to the Q&A. So instead of going through or distributing that one, and Yusuf having version 1, Tariq is having version 2, and God knows which version, which one is the latest version, you can have it in your bot, updated, you know, centralized with your, you know, maybe a dedicated team with a governance model there, and distributed in your website, whatever, you know. So this is one example how you can use your knowledge base, you know, to answer questions. So let's say.
What if it gets the question wrong and then you say?
Let's take an example. Okay, give me a question. Anything. Let's see. What is?
Who should I contact?
Who should I contact? See, just DMS. Okay, let's see what this. So you have, let's say you have to choose this. This is the correct answer. Let's say this is the correct answer. Okay? I will take this one, copy it because we will test. I will say this, okay? And once since I choose it, I will say save and train again. So I'm teaching it, you know, this is the correct one instead of
machine learning.
yes, yeah. So you consider this is in the training phase, or you know, once before you are saying. So it's done, right? So let's go back here. Let's start over. So we'll not get and see. And see now the confident. It's 100 because I said this is. And by the way, what it's doing behind the scenes, if you go back here and search for that question, you'll find it changed the answer for it here. But I don't know where to find it here. It's a big list. Okay? You need a bot. It was something. So this is how we are doing the Q&A. Now let's have it in our code, you know, how we can fetch this, you know, service. So once you are, let's say, confident with the accuracy of your Q&A maker, you will go to the publish tab and you will say, I want to publish my Q&A. So it will give you an HTTP. As we said, it's always what? A web API thing, you know. So if you can notice, it's a Postman, you know, thing. We will keep this page open because I will tell you how we will use it. Yani. So I will go back here. Okay, I will open the code for you. So if we go back here to the EcoBot, okay, let's, if you can notice, this is what we have, right? This is the original, EcoBot. I comment that, and this is what I will have. So I will have a configuration. This is, anyone knows the C# thing, it's familiar with this. So I will have a configuration, a logger, just to log any error happens, an HTTP client. Anyone knows why we will have an HTTP client?
To make a request?
Correct. To the Q&A service. As simple as this. You're absolutely right. So because the .NET Core, has a capability of dependency injection inside it, out of the box. So I will say to the constructor, I need these, and I will assign them. And this is our on message method we just saw. Okay. So I will create a client from the client factory, which is the HTTP client, and I will have something called the Q&A maker. This is, you can have it once you import the AI Q&A NuGet package. Okay, so you'll just go to the package here and say, let me just type it or copy it, and if I go to the package installer here and I say install package, and then I say like this, and it will fail for me because it's already there imported, and you will just import it, So what that has or needs, the knowledge base ID, the entry point key, and the host. Okay, these I'm saying I'm taking these from the configuration file I have. So if we go to the configuration file here, the app settings, there are, from where I can get this. Remember this page we just said, and we said let's zoom a little bit. This is clearer, or I will zoom a lot. So you'll find in the first line knowledge base, then like a GUI, a GUID there. This is your knowledge base ID. So copy it and put it here. And Q&A endpoint key, from here you can say endpoint key. So this is the endpoint key. So without it you cannot make any authorized call. And then the Q&A endpoint host, which is this one, the host. See? Copy paste. Not that much. By the way, I will show you how I'm not that wizard magic, thing, who wrote the code and that's it. All of these codes and more than, I will show you in the end. There is a repo in GitHub called bot examples, around, I think, more than 40 examples for each specific use case. One of the use cases is a total, digital cafe, where you can order, place orders, manage your orders, pay your bills, a lot of things. You have to see it, This will be, if you want to try it, you can try it there. So I took a lot of that code, and put it, and it works. So you should not, don't be afraid that you will not, be ready, to use it. It's very easy. Since you have a little bit knowledge of .NET or maybe Node, or even, as we said, there is Java, even SDK, you will have it. So maybe we'll have to change this based on what we received last time, right? Let's see. I think it will fail. No. Should fit. Okay, good. What is that? Let's go back to our bot and refresh. What was his question? Or let's say, what is Azure Kuwait? So if we are connected, voila. See, we got it from the Q&A. Okay, see, if we go to the trace, Q&A maker trace. So we know it came from the Q&A. So let's say prices, tiers, maybe something in the support will have something like that. You have designed our Azure plans to meet different business needs, you know, so something similar to what we said, you know. You can say, for example, buy for now. I think it will reply, buy. See? As simple as this. So this is the Q&A. You need a break because the last topic, which is lowest, is a little bit, you know, intensive. So if you need, I can give you 5 minutes break. It's better, huh? So if you want to go to the toilet, anything you can do. Okay? Lewis, as we said. Now, if we explore a little bit, maybe this depends on the API or the scenario, by the way. So if I go here, I will find that the API gives me the ability, you know, to get the top headlines in US, for example, in a country. So I can provide a country in our search. Which is, as Sami said, absolutely right, it will be represented by an entity. Another example here they have, it's a headline from BBC News, which is a source or a website. So this can be also an entity because maybe they have a list of sources, Al Jazeera, CNN, BBC, I don't know, and so on. This depends on the API, what you will have. And here, for example, headlines from Germany, from I think, from Germany, yeah, and with a category here, see? They have a category, a business. I'm interested in the business news, I'm interested in the sports, whatever. So all of these will be represented as entities. And we'll see how we will build all of these. So let's go and build our model. So to go there, we will go to Lewis, as I said, .ai, because we are dealing with an AI. So it's the same. If you are not logged in or you are not signed up, you have to sign up or logged in. Make sure that the same Azure account you are using is the same one you are using for the Q&A and Lewis. So they will be linked, okay? So I will say sign in. Loading. By the way, this is I think now they have a new portal, but it's still in preview, but we will stick with the one. So you can create or import. We will use the import later on, but let's say that we'll create a new app. Our app what it will be? It will be news. We'll call it a news, just as simple. You can give it any name. Culture is English, because we will deal with English. And now we'll go to build. See, you have entities, intents, entities, patterns, we will talk about it now. So let's create the first entity. From what we examined, Sami, you said the first one, what it will be? A country or a city. Every time before you go and create any entity, go to something called add a pre-built entity. There is an out-of-the-box entities built for you. There is something for age, date, time, so no need to use them, you know. So I will say city, we don't have something city. Geolocation, geography. Location and place names such as city, country, state, province, country. So this is what we need, right? So I will say done. So it will create it. By the way, I have some flow here. We'll use it. So it will give you a better understanding what I mean. Steps. Okay. Okay. So let's say now I created the first one. We'll go back. Let's go to the intents. Now we said we will have two intents, right? The first one, what we will call it? The first one. Let's give it the correct name because I need the correct name because our code will depend on these names. Wait a second. I think I have it here. Okay. Okay, we said we have everything. I call it like this. It's up to you to name it. But I prefer always to have the same name of the app dot then the intent you have. It will give you better, to organize your intents and these things. So I will have everything, and I will have something for the top headlines. Sorry, I will use these names because the code we will build is relying on these things, That's why. I'll create another one. Let's go. Now, inside the intent, you start giving example utterances, and examples. What a user could, ask, so we can serve him with this thing. So let's say if he say latest news, I know he wants the top headlines, right? I'll say okay. Fine. See, the score is -1, which means it's not yet trained. Also, if you go here and say, I will show you later. Now, breaking news, which is the same thing, for example. Enter. So it's adding it. Let's get here. Get all news from United States. Remember that we added the geolocation or geographic, right? See? It detected automatically. See, if I hover, United States, it says. So it's a placeholder. So if I said later on, for example, get all news from Mexico or Germany, it will know that this is the intent I mean. Okay? Here you can see the values instead of that, but I'd rather, to stick with the entity name. Now let's go to let's say I want get latest entertainment news. As you remember from our API, the entertainment or business or they are type of a news. So we could have what you call it, an entity doing that. So if I go to the entities and I will say I want create a news category, and it's a type of a list because there are certain values I'm concerned of, because they will not be more than this, and they will say done. And if I go here to the category, and so I have, now you will see something nice. I will say technology, and I will say sports. Just keep focusing here, if something is appearing, and tell me. Science. See? Automatically, it suggested some of the things for me. Based on a previous experience, of Lewis, because it's, it's been, they keep training Lewis, in the back end, to suggest more of the things. You can add all of these if they are, following your case or not. So in my case, there is health. I will say health. Where I believe it's there, so it's there. And general, I don't think general is there, but so we'll add it manually. By the way, these values I got it from the documentation of the API. It's not nothing from my mind. Yani. Entertainment, I think I have already entertainment. No. Yeah, we can have entertainment. Amusement, we can use it, and we can add a synonym for it, for example. So for the same thing. Business, I think business is already there. So see how the beauty, it's trying to help you even more. So if I start typing maybe cars models or franchises, so for example Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, it will start giving you Volkswagen, blah blah blah, these things. You can try it at home. So let's go back to the top headlines. See now, wow, automatic, it changed it because it's part of our entity. Last thing we want to show, let's say, get me all news in Arabic. So Arabic can be English, whatever language, right? So it's also a candidate for an entity. So I can go here and say, this is the last entity, maybe I will show you. We'll call it news.language, correct, see? طب كمل. So it couldn't, recognize it automatically. It's not maybe Ocean, yeah, exactly, and it's not a built-in entity. So I just hover over the thing I want. I will click on that, and they will say it is a language. There is something called roles. Inside the entity, you can define roles. And a good example will be, for example, if you want, let's say, you want to book a train ticket from one station X to another station Y. So inside the destination, not the destination, let's say, I don't know, call it trip maybe entity. Yeah, you can call it trip. Inside it, you can have origin and destination. So origin and destination could be roles inside your, your entity. So, and when you hover over multiple words, you can say this is a trip, role origin, this is trip, role destination. So whenever it will fetch it will fetch for you, the two destination. We don't have a complex example here, but we'll say just like this, a language in our case. And last thing, the same thing we can do for here about Bitcoins. And I can add a new something query, because for sure this is the most important entity maybe because we are querying about something. And if I go and say query, okay? So it is as simple as this. For the sake of time and the things, I will go back here to the My Apps. I will delete this, okay? And I will import a predefined one I already created called see, it's saved in JSON, and I will say process. If we go back, see I have 16 utterances here, 28. If we go, we have some complex ones, maybe something like that, see. One thing to add is the patterns. Buttons, if you know that the same question can be repeated in a little bit slightly pattern, you can have this to be used. And normally there is one of the entities types called pattern.any. This cannot be, this type of entity, you cannot use it unless you have a pattern. You cannot use it with the same way when we went to the intent, and you cannot add it. It's already there. So the syntax is very, very, very easy. So in here we say the first word can be what, get, or read. So the vibe is or, and the the brackets is like a a list of values. Unfortunately, I don't know. There is a restriction up to 3. Okay. Then you will say the entity name, for example. Then you says if something between square brackets means that it can be optional, can be presented or not. Okay. Then as simple as that. Then you will say you label it to which intent. In this case, this is the top headlines. This is everything, and so on. So it's another way of doing it. So let's train, and I think it's already 8. Sorry, we will give you a little bit. So collecting, okay. And we have a test, we can test. So let's say, get me latest in news from United States, for example. We'll see what will happen. So if I see the confidence, I think you cannot see it, but see? And if we go here, the top 10 is around 93%. You can edit and retrain if it's wrong. See the entities detected is United. I don't know why it's not United States. We can fix that, and it's source instead of geolocation. This is, you have to train it a little bit and play with it. I think if I go, for example, news about cars from Kuwait. Not sure if this we have. Let's see what we have. So top headlines, it's a query, the query about cars. We are searching about cars. Geography is Kuwait. So this is what will be received for our bot. Our bot will receive this. And based on that, you can do your decision. You know the intent. You know that the user is asking for a news, which is the top headlines. So you can call that API. You know that he has some filtration, you can say, about he's searching about cars. So you can send this along your request. And he wants to filter it down or narrow it down to cars and news coming from Kuwait. So as simple as this. This is what we will try to do. Now, to make it work with the Q&A as well, as we said, we have to make a way, we will make something called dispatcher. The dispatcher will receive the content or the request. Then he will make a decision which service should serve this request. Is it the Lewis or a Q&A? And based on that, if it's Lewis, it will go back to our here and it will fetch all of this. The dispatcher itself, it's a Lewis service. It will be created under Lewis. And we have a tool which will automatically generate these things for us. So we'll go and publish, and I will say it's a production thing. Okay, what is it? Okay, so also the same thing, you will have some information like this. Now what I will try to achieve here, let me go to the code here and dispatcher, and I will remove all the dispatchers here. Actually, it doesn't matter by the or no problem. Let's remove all of this, because this is what will be generated by the dispatcher, by the way. And I will see. I'll take this. And by the way, we'll close this. The people who likes the CLI. Okay, for the sake of time, I will just, so here by the way, it's a node tool. So we are using Node.js here. So through npm, I will just update or make sure that npm is installed, which is Node package management, like NuGet or something. Then I will download or install the dispatcher. Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay. Then I'm installing the dispatcher tool. Now will come the nice thing. First, you will initialize the dispatcher, which is basically we are creating. We're saying this is our dispatcher. So it will have the lowest authority key. Okay, and you will give it a name. Here is the name. I will say dispatcher Azure Kuwait. Okay, and the key you can get it from here. This is your primary key. See? So it's the same. I'm sure it's the same. It will say dispatcher have been created. If I go back to I will find this. See? The file is created for me. It's a predefined, information. Then I will say create for me. The first service will be the Lewis. Then the key. Then Then the name of your N for the name. It's called the news, and the version is 0.0 because you can version your models every time you train it. Then this is the key. Then what the intent name, the new one you will create inside the dispatcher. I call it L minus or underscore news. I'll say create or enter. Add it. Then I will add the Q&A. So the Q&A also will have the same thing, but I think here we call the Q&A one. Anyone remember? This is our Q&A. We called it this. Sorry, we are going a little bit fast, but and this is the ID also as well. So this is the ID. So these previous ones I created before. And this one is the key, but not the key which is represented here. This is the tricky part about the QA. So I have to go back to Azure. And I have to go here. Sorry. Come on. Okay. And I have to go to the Q&A. And in the keys, I have to take this one. And I will call it Q&A Azure. Okay? So we created both. Last thing to do is create, which means actually publish. See, it's exporting the services to Lewis. Everything is trying to create. What it will do, all our, the things we entered in the Q&A will be imported to Lewis with the new dispatcher name inside it, and it will also import whatever is there in the news one, combine them and train them for the dispatcher. I will show you a little bit. Train model, still training. No need to do anything, see? Believe me, before 2 days I was knowing nothing about it. Okay, so if we go back here and go to my apps, see? I have a dispatcher inside it. Okay? Moment of truth. Now I have to go here and publish that one. See, since it's green, that means it has been trained. If it's red, that means it needs, see, up to date. So I will publish and say production. And this is what we will use in our app, okay? So in our app, I think we need this. Okay, this one we will not use. We'll go for the dispatcher. You'll see now something. Okay. So I'll replace these with the correct one. Q&A. Let's go back to the Q&A. First, let's do this one. This one is correct. Lewis. So this is the correct one. This one, West. I know it is. This is the API. The key for my, for example, the news API, which I will use. Okay, so don't bother about it. And for the Q&A, just to make it correct, I have to go to the Q&A, and this is the ID. No. And for the endpoint, this is the endpoint. And this is the host. I think we are done. We can run it and see what will happen and hope it will work. Okay, so start from, okay. Hello and welcome. So let's say, hi, this should come, or let's say contact, صح? Contact us, or something like that, I don't know. Should get Lewis Trace. Okay, just, nice. Get it from the Q&A. Let's now go to the news. Get me latest news about Trump, because for sure there will be something about Trump.
Really?
Okay, boom, got it? So I'm showing the results in something called cards. Okay, this is a hero card. There is a lot of types of cards. You can read about it. The most flexible one called the adaptive card, where it can change the layout based on the channel it's represented. Yani for example, if you are taking this to mobile, it's different than the web, than maybe Teams, than Skype. But the hero card is also nice, which has like this one. So I'm returning the first 3 results. If I go read more, so here I say from the Washington Post. So I am sure if I go read more and say confirm, I should go to the Washington Post. Okay, no, sorry, I don't want. Unblock ads. I don't want. Oh my God. Okay, and okay, there is something about Trump.
I have to disable your account.
Yeah, I don't want. So let's go to this one and see BuzzFeed News also, and you'll find even the things. So it's about Trump. You can see that we are getting correct the things. So I don't think we have a time, to show the same result on Teams, because the same experience you can have it in Teams. I believe this is an end.
Dispatcher know where to get the information. Once we write something about the news or Trump, get the information from Lewis, right?
Yes, as we said, the news app, which is inside Lewis, have been trained. Okay, now the dispatcher is combining all your services inside Lewis, and it trains that, and based on that it says, okay, this is something similar to the news app which can serve it. And it has also confidence and these things. We can try it now a little bit. And then it will say, go to this app. So inside the code here, I'll show you a little bit very fast. Let's stop it. EcoBot. So see what I'm having here. I have a lot of things here. So on the message receive, what I'm doing, I'm going to the dispatcher and say recognize. So it will return for me the result. And from the result, I'm saying, give me the top scoring intent. And I know that one could be either a Q&A or another Lewis. So then I have an internal method here, which is a private one. I say, if the intent is L-news, then go to the news thing. If it is a Q&A intent, you'll go to the Q&A. Let's go back to here. The Q&A, what it has, it will go and check. If it is news everything, you will call this service. If it is headlines, call this service. And here I'm just calling the service. I have a service here I just created. I'm consuming the, what you call it? The API, as simple as this. And I'm not doing any fancy. Even I found a NuGet package for the API. So I'm not writing anything fancy that much. I'm just using the package. So this is how it's done. So the dispatcher is just a router, a broker, you know. Okay, then I have to route it to this, a router. Consider it like this. So I believe this gives us, this is the end of today's session, with a little bit. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Azure_Q8. Okay, so make sure that you follow us because we will update. You'll find your photos there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and please scan this QR and give us your feedback about today's session. It will help us a lot, you know, to improve our next meetups, inshallah. And
For you to use another language, the same teacher.
Arabic or something, there is some limitation when it comes to Arabic, but even يعني French, Japanese, what you call it? There is around 5 or 7, multi-language. Arabic, they have some limitations. Not everything is supported. Yeah.
I know the research team
They are going.
it's way much better than before.
Yeah.
But it's even coming up in a very big way.
I remember when I was searching about the speech-to-text service from the cognitive. Before, Arabic was not at all supported. Now it's supported, but with two locally, which is the Arabic Egyptian one. So if you say ازيك النهارده, he will say ازيك النهارده, or will convert it, yeah. But when you say it in Fusha, maybe it will not recognize it. So you can play with that. And I had some trouble, you know, because I was trying to transcript.
Even in Egyptian, by the way,
Yeah.
the morning it says sabah sabah.
Sabah, sabah, yes. So it has this localization flavor, you know. Okay. This is some of the resources. I will share all of these slides in our repo. Yes.
Give you 1 minute.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
شباب سأعرف بحالي. My name is Mohammed Zaid. I lead the Azure business we call it the new Middle East cluster. So it's a new group in Microsoft
So
that
you
we
can
have
record
created.
your voice in the camera.
You can record my. So I cover Egypt, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, and Qatar, and we just launched we made a huge announcement that we are launching a data center in Qatar. So this is big command as well for our region. So we have in Dubai now and Abu Dhabi and as well in Qatar. So those are like huge, basically, for the community here. Nevertheless, in Kuwait in specific, where is the best community so far rising up,
I really want your help to communicate the message about the community to all your colleagues, peers, friends as well. And we'll make sure that we'll add a couple of excitement basically in the upcoming, I was like brainstorming, I wanted to attend this one every time.
Yeah,
try.
Outside the country.
So I always travel all the time, but these days I'm here. But I really as well would love to hear what kind of topics you would like to have, even if it had to have a specialized person from our side to attend. There are so many cool stuff that are coming up. So I was like thinking maybe mixed reality could be something that we could explore next time. I don't know if you have seen the new Microsoft HoloLens stuff that they do, because that's part of Azure as well, by the way. It's HoloLens is an Azure product. It's not, people sometimes they think it's a development product. It's for developers. And so on. All of these we can have them. So please keep the feedback coming, and I'll make sure that in the region. I'm doing a developer conference. There is an Ignite event, by the way, is happening in Dubai. I really recommend if you register there. So it's going to happen in February, I think 8th and 10th.
10th and 11th.
So a lot of speakers will be there. I'm trying to get Scott Hanselman as well, one of the top speakers in Microsoft, to go to Egypt. I'm trying to connect with him, trying to attract him for Kusharia inside Egypt.
Be more than 50 for more than 6 months, and I can guarantee Scott Hansen will be here.
I'll try to get him there. I got him once into Dubai, so I think he liked it. But yeah, these executives, they just take so much time for you to schedule. But I hope there will be a developer conference in Egypt as well in 30th of March, which is going to be huge, massive. So, and that's where we are trying to attract like 1,500 developers in one event. So you can imagine how massive it's going to be. And it's going to be all developers. Like, I hate these events where marketing is there on the stage and people like discussing marketing stuff. By the way, I am in the marketing department. That's what they call. But my job is completely different. My job is to get Azure to where it should be. So getting startups to happen here. Actually, another thing that I wanted to finalize with, we have a startup team for Kuwait now. So Microsoft, they have a specific startup team in Kuwait. Mm-hmm. So they can help people that they want to establish their startups. If you have that in mind, I can get these people to introduce you to our Microsoft startup and how Microsoft can support you to build your own company, build your own idea, and get it basically to the next level. If you would,
is it Microsoft
for Africa?
Reactor?
So Microsoft Startup. Now it's called Microsoft Startup. Microsoft is trying to simplify the life of everyone. We're trying to avoid any complex word in the life. If you know that we had a product called Flow. I don't know who called it Flow. Now we call it Automate. Like, life is simple. By the way, I met 2 months back. I'm not going to take you away from the dinner, but 2 months back I met with Julia White. If you know Julia White is the most known person in the Azure world now in Microsoft. And when I met her, she said something that's really interesting. She said Azure is about 3 things. It's about migrate, where you take things from here to there, or innovate, where basically you do innovation, right? Chatbots, app services, Kubernetes, you call them whatever you want, basically out of the different services. Or enable, you train people about how to use Azure. If you take that simplicity and you get people to enable, and that's why you see Microsoft now more than ever, if you are part of the cloud society, distributing vouchers, they want people to get the develop. You remember the MCSE days are coming back. And if you are in a customer where they are consuming Azure, you might have seen Microsoft calling the customer and saying, how many people do you have you want to certify for Azure? They are going back to basics 101. And this is only for one reason. Satya Nadella is a developer, so it's the guy knows how much important is basically developers in the world. And for that, I want to thank you so much. My LinkedIn is mzayed.com. Ahmed Mzayed. So mzayed.com. I'm here in Kuwait. I love to have coffee with the community. So whenever basically you would like to have a coffee, you would like to sit, we can, of course, basically, yeah. I'm now mostly I'm in Kuwait, inshallah. Yalla, all the best. Thank you so much.
Before we persons here today, actually, because they are with us from the beginning when we started the community. So especially today, without his contribution to reserve maybe the place and these things, we couldn't have this thing. So please, Walid Abdul Kabir, this is like a small appreciation. Applause, please. Just give him a hand. It's a small pen, okay. Also, we have Sami, okay. Also, he's with us from the beginning, so thank you for your support. And last but not least, Mina, thank you very much for your contribution.
There is a guy outside. You can
Yeah. So we would like to have a photo before we go and have the small snacks and dinner. So please join us for a quick group photo. Muhammad, join us.